for anybody wondering, this is my peaceful protest, and it's a peaceful protest against flat earthers that accept shitty evidence that is proof of anything. Listen, guys, evidence is either verified as true or not capable of verification. And if you can't verify it's true, it's not evidence to accept. If it's not credible, it's not evidence to accept. So all these retards that think that Patricia's either a boy or a girl, or that she's a transsexual, or this, that she's a shill, all the evidence that's going round about this, that, and the other, fuck it, reel your head in, guys. It's all incredible because nobody will put their face to it. It's all incapable of verifying. It's not true. But if you accept it as true, you may as well go back to the ball. So the reason why I'm wearing this mask is in protest against stupid flat earthers that accept shitty evidence to prove any particular point. And if you think that Patricia's a boy, the problem's you. You can't work out a boy from a girl. If you think Patricia's a shill, the problem's you, because you don't know what evidence is needed to prove that it's a shill. And it's the same for Mark. So for all the ball earthers that have got their points to make, I'm sure that they can make their points properly. But for the flat earthers, for God's sake, guys, get a grip. It's got to be verifiable. It's got to be credible. Otherwise, it gets dismissed. It's that simple. And all this shit floating around, pack it in. It doesn't prove anything. Let's get back on topic, talk about the good things, and let's talk about things that are productive. Let's not be divisive, and let's not split things up. Keep on track and talk about quality evidence.
These flat earth videos, they're getting out of control now. It's ridiculous. They're all over YouTube. You know, it's not a new thing. It's been going on for fucking hundreds of years, but the last 6 months or so, I'm sure half of them don't believe it themselves and are in it for the money and the attention or something. I don't know, but it's ridiculous. One thing they all have in common, right? They can never answer a straight fucking question. I mean, Jesus Christ, believing in the flat earth, that's like saying the Wizard of Oz was a true story. That's even more believable than a fucking flat earth theory, you know what I mean?
Today, 2017, what I find incredibly interesting about 2017, and this is not a religious thing, I want to make clear. I want to thank everyone, I want to thank God. Without God, this wouldn't even happen. I want people to recognize that. So whether you're at a point where you're looking at the creator, because the one thing you can say, there's no atheists in flat earth. And again, if there is, please talk to me afterwards. I'd really like to hear that. I haven't heard it yet. I'd like to kind of figure that all out. But the idea is we're all, wait a minute, we're unique. There's a creator.
This is somewhat of a battle, more or less between good and evil. No, more or less. This is a battle between good and evil, okay? Because what we do at this point, we're spreading information, opening people's minds to a concept that brings them to the conclusion that this place was created. This place was fashioned by a divine creator, and that when we come to that conclusion, well, you have to look at the other side. Well, who would want to hide that fact?
I don't know what you guys tell them, but I say I think they're trying to hide God. They're trying to hide our creator.
But I also know 100% one thing, and that's that they're hiding God. Without a doubt, in my mind, that is the reason for this all.
They're hiding God. How's that?
So that means it's based on
Wait, sorry. Say it one more time.
Sorry, that means it's based on religion?
Not necessarily based on religion, but definitely based on spirituality. At the very least, based on spirituality. Yes. I mean, everybody here has felt it. Robbie had a great quote, and that is, try to be an atheist and be in flat earth. It cannot be done.
The Holy Spirit came over me, and I saw my first video thanks to Scrawny DeBrawny, and a true Christian brother that lived in Hollywood sent it to me and said, hey, watch this and tell me what you think. And the Lord had given me a revelation about 2 months before that video came. The Lord spoke to me, and when I say Lord, I'm speaking of Jesus Christ. So that'll be evident in a minute. But the Holy Spirit told me, he said, I have something else to show you, and it's big. And I want to say this at the outset of this. Two things. Number one, if there wasn't concrete evidence to this, observable concrete evidence to this, and if it wasn't clearly in the scriptures, I would not be here.
If anybody has any doubts, go to Joshua 10 and read there and see that the sun stood still and the moon stood still. And with both of them standing still, you can't have a Gil-Prasad theory that God somehow caused Nibiru to pull the earth down 20 degrees or 30 degrees so that Israel would have a longer day.
That book is a flat earth book from Genesis to Revelation. It just is.
If you just use your brain and you drop everything that you've ever been told, you are a created individual. This is a created place. This is a mind far greater than every single human being ever born had to be responsible for this. It's not an accident. It's not a explosion in space. It's not random molecules joining together, the laws of physics. You name it, all of it was put together, and it's obvious.
This has really set me free and set my mind free. And it's made me want to learn and grow. And on something like that, that can only be from God, because I was the biggest class clown you'll ever meet.
Things are going to change for the better because things have been suppressed that will make things, take things to a more positive direction. So this is for future generations. There is, in my opinion, no more worthy cause than to spread the truth about this whole flat earth reality.
You're part of history, every one of you here. This is history. This will be put in the history books.
Oh, dude, check it out. It was a live television feed from the moon through the Van Allen belt. Oh, the Van Allen belt's not gonna cause any problems. Oh, really? So you think this high level of radiation is gonna be able to allow this spotty transmission of Apollo 11 in 1969, right?
It's funny how satellites burn up on re-entry, but they go out just fine. I looked up how they put satellites in orbit, and according to what I read, they actually just strap a satellite to the top of a rocket, shoot it up into orbit, and then when it reaches the place where they want it to be, they release it from the rocket, and the rocket goes into orbit as space junk.
If gunpowder wasn't invented, you wouldn't have guns, because guns were building upon a previous technology known as gunpowder. And the whole space program needed a foundation of previous proven technology in order to build upon. America did not have that foundation of technology because we'd never been in space. We have no idea what space was. We have no idea the terrain, the dangers, anything. We didn't know anything about space, but we could build a craft that could go through space and land on the moon. No problem. No problem. For all we knew at that time was that the surface of the moon could have been lava, it could have been water, it could have been gases. How did we, and where did we, we looked through a telescope, we see craters, so it can't be lava. How do you know?
I can't believe that people are so stupid. They're so either happy in their little cocoon that they don't fucking question reality. They don't look at the fucking moon landing footage and say, I can see the fucking strings. Because you can. You can see the fucking strings. Not only that, but I mean, they're not jumping like a sixth of the Earth's gravity. They're not jumping 20 feet in the air. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, to any graphic designer, you can easily see that it's all CGI and it's all bullshit.
Why doesn't it burn up on the way out? The materials haven't been compromised. There's no elements up there to compromise the material. There's no moisture to rust things, or wind, or any other element to break down the structural integrity of the satellite. So why? Why does it burn up on the way back down, but it doesn't burn up on the way up?
We went to the moon with no backup technology, no foundation of technology. We went to the moon. It's like building the Kitty Hawk and coming up with 747 within 10 years. And look at the complexity of a 747. Those things are repaired, constantly being repaired. Parts are being replaced constantly. We didn't see this with the moon, the moon landing. And now you have radiation. Now I've learned from these top researchers that when they went to the moon, the radiation level of the Van Allen belt, they had to get through that. They had to get through it. They had to get through it. They couldn't get through it. And to this day, they can't get through it. But they went through it. Somehow a miracle happened. They went through it. And the radiation, that there was some of the, well, it was at that time the biggest solar storms on the sun ever recorded, which it charges up the Van Allen radiation belt 1,000 times. It increases the radiation 1,000 times. They would have been on the moon. If they were on the moon, they would have been bathed in solar radiation from these storms. 1,000 times more powerful.
Why does it matter if the Earth is flat? It does. Because now the way I think of the world is on total level to anything else. I make the decision. Tyson, Neil, smoke of that grass, Tyson, now is saying that the world's round as it can be. But a few months ago, oh, it's a pear. All of a sudden, he changed his mind. No. I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. It's still round. It's not a pear. It's not oblique. It's not oblige like Mary J. No, whatever. You change your mind. Now you're saying it's round. How convenient, right? You can change your perception. Well, I'm changing my perception. I believe it's flat. That is it. And the number one reason why it's flat is because NASA are a bunch of liars, a bunch of Freemasons that want us to dictate what the world should be.
Well, let me tell you something. If you ever feel like a big, stupid fucking idiot, just remember, there's literally people out there that believe we live on a flat earth. Yeah. What kind of intellectual deficit is needed to be that fucking ignorant?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Sargent and Patricia Steer.
It's an award show for video makers, really. It's like the Grammys or, I don't know, something else, but for flat earthers, people who've done superior work. And here's what the award looks like.
Photo op. Photo op.
Flat Earth Video Awards.
There we go. We have to introduce our special.
We have a special assistant,
Yeah.
Candy Franklin.
Candy
Franklin. She will be our trophy runner-ess, as opposed to runner. And we'll be bringing trophies to those who are here to accept them. Those who are not here.
Hi, Candy.
Best Flat Earth chat room, Bro Sanchez.
Something that puts a nail in the coffin with it as well, right? How the hell do you measure the circumference of the earth before we invent modern transportation, before the invention of the train, before the invention of the basic damn wheel. I mean, I think Gallup, I don't know if during the time they was figuring out all this stuff, they just had basic chariots and shit. Like, I don't get how they measured the circumference of the fucking earth and had that on lock during the time that they said they did. So I think that's a good point.
The best street interview, Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curve.
Could you give me one practical proof that would convince you that the Earth was a globe then?
If I was able to go up in Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic thing, if I was willing to spend that kind of money on it, then I would be able to come back to you and go, mate, sorry to burst your bubble, but it was pretty round.
But that's not practical right now.
It's not practical right
if
now,
we
but
remove
there are
that-
many people that have been up in rockets. You know, the Russians. You can go for a
512.
Well, you can go up and you can experience anti-gravity and you can get a quick look at.
So you're talking about a parabolic flight where they take you up and the plane will dive and you get that feeling of weightlessness. So I mean, that's just a experience you can have on a
You know,
plane.
these interballistic missiles are practically going into space, aren't they?
Well, you know, if that's what you believe. Well.
Worst NASA mistake, and this was a hard category. The award goes to Mike Helmick.
Yeah.
We're going to see NASA royally screw up. It's a live broadcast, and one of their video channels is off, not working. That's the channel that is supposed to show us, the public, what the astronauts are seeing in virtual reality. Okay, so you see to the right, this guy's flipping this hat. This hat's actually on another video channel in 3D space. It's virtual reality. They're wearing augmented contact lenses so that they can interact with these 3D objects.
For the best hangout, and it goes to Globebusters.
Yeah.
We agree with you that the globe model predicts this or that. That's fine. The problem is that it doesn't mean it's true. And I think they missed this whole idea that, I mean, think about if car companies put a tank for gas and then a tank for marshmallows. And they had online, you could go to this calculator that calculated how many marshmallows per mile. And it said, oh, you need, one marshmallow is 5 miles in your car. Well, if every time you went and said, well, let's see if this calculator is right. And I went and put 3 marshmallows in my car and then the car went 15 miles. That wouldn't mean that the marshmallows is what's propelling the car. And it's just kind of that's what they're basically saying, is just because they've got a certain calculator that shows them one thing, it doesn't mean that it's true. It means that somebody came out with a calculator that calculates what they're looking at.
If all flat earthers got together and contacted one airline and said, look, there are many people that are seeing through the bullshit of these lies. All it takes is one camera in a cockpit. If you do not see a plane that's flying flat and level through the air, constantly adjusting its nose to go around the globe, then it's not a fucking globe. And it has to be visible, the plane making these adjustments. It should be constant and regular and visible. So put a fucking camera in the cockpit of a plane and fly 1,000 miles and show us how it adjusts for the curvature. And show me the entire fucking trip live, uncut, how that fucking plane is adjusting its nose to stay oriented properly around the globe. It doesn't happen. It's that simple. You have to put them on the defensive. And that's why the clusterfuck in the flat earth movement. So you don't go on the offensive and put them on the defensive and make people realize they can't even prove their model with an experiment working proven model. They cannot show you the Earth with a moon orbiting it.